In this module, we are going to learn about array formula. Now, basically what happens is that when we are actually working with our formula, normal way of working with our formula, we actually type our formula in a single cell and then we drag it wherever we want to copy it. But if you are using an array, or if you want to write a formula using an array, you can put your formula in multiple cells at one go. Now, how that will work and what are the different other techniques of working with array formula, that we'll be discussing those topics in this module. Now, before we get into that and learn the practical part, just want to go through certain points which you should know about an array formula. Now, an array formula is a type of formula that performs an operation on multiple values. So here, when we're talking about array formula, we are talking about doing things on multiple values rather than on a single value. The final result of an array formula is also in as an array, or it can be either one item or an array of items. So it can work on multiple values, can return a multiple values depending on how your formula is constructed. Now, the important point to be noted here is that whenever you enter a formula in a cell, you press enter. But in case of whenever you are entering an array formula, then you don't press enter. You normally press Control plus Shift plus enter. That is very important, and we should know that. That whenever we are writing an array formula, so one is a normal formula and one is an array formula. So in this module, we are learning array formula. So whenever we will put an array formula inside a cell, if I say enter, then it will work as a normal formula and it might throw error. But however, if I am using an array formula, I should give Control plus Shift plus enter. So it should be Control plus Shift plus enter. For after entering the array formula, you should press that. Now, whenever you enter the Control plus Shift plus enter, you will see that your formula has been wrapped up in a curly braces in the formula bar, which means that it is an array. So whatever you see in a curly braces, all the values in a curly braces, means that you have converted your data into an array. And that's what array formula does. So Control Shift Enter actually converts the data into an array and works on an array. Please do not enter your curly braces manually, because that will be entered by the system. If you do that manually, your formula will not work. So these are the few important points to be noted while you're working with array formula. Now the question is, what is an array? Now basically the definition is that an array is a collection of one or more items. An array in Excel appears inside a curly bracket like this, red, blue, green, and you can see a curly braces around it. Okay, it can be separated by a semicolon or it can be separated by a comma. If it is separated by a semicolon, it's a vertical array. And if it is separated by a comma, then it is a horizontal array. The reason array is so common in Excel is that they may map directly to cell ranges. So in spite of using a cell range, we can use the array directly, or we can convert a cell range into an array and then work with it. Both is possible. So by converting a cell range into an array, we get some benefits which we will discuss in this module. Vertical ranges are represented as array that use semicolons, as I told you earlier, and horizontal ranges are which one is a comma separated. And a two-dimensional range will use both semicolon and commas. So if you want to create a two-dimensional range, then you have to use both semicolon and comma. So here what I'm going to give you a demo of how to create a vertical array, how to create a horizontal array, and how to create a 2D array. So we'll just give you a small demo to understand how it works, so that we can now go and work with some practical application. Now, as we have learned earlier that to create a vertical array, you have to use semicolon. So let's go to this cell, and in this cell I will say is equal to 2 semicolon 3 semicolon 4 bracket and Control Shift Enter. Now it gives me just 2. Now why just give me 2? Why? Because I have not selected 3 cells. So since it's a vertical array, before entering the formula, I should have selected 3 because I want to have 3 values which I want vertically to be printed. So I made a mistake here. So I'll select this again, right? So 1, 2, 3, and I'll go here and say Control Shift Enter. See, 2, 3, 4 is coming. So I'll just align it. 2, 3, 4 is coming. So what I've done, I've written this formula. So while writing this formula, just I've taken care that I've selected all the 3 cells, written the formula, and say Control Shift Enter. If you do just enter, it will not work. So it's I'm sorry, you cannot change a part. And one thing, it's very important that once you have an array here, you cannot make a change. So if you say enter, it'll say you can't change a part of an array. So that is, it becomes, permanent out here. So what you have to do, you have to go and delete it, right? So you can't just change anything inside an array. So that's how an array works vertically. Now, horizontal array, what you need to do? You need to select these 3 and you say is equal to, and now you say 2 comma, not colon, right? 2 comma 3 comma 4, and say Control Shift Enter. Control Shift Enter. See, it's now displays it or types it in a horizontal way. So if you want to type it in a horizontal way, then you need to put the separated by comma. If you want to put it in a vertical way, then you need to put it in a semicolon. And suppose I want to put it in a 2D array. So for example, I want to put this in a 2-dimensional array. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, so I want this. Three rows and 3 columns. And I say is equal to. So first of all, I want the rows. So 2 colon 3 colon 4 colon into, I'll multiply these 2 array and I'll get the result and show it in 2D. And I say here 3 comma 4 comma 5. Now if you look at this, what happens? This is in semicolon. That means this will be printed 2, 3, 4. And this is 3, 4, 5. So it will print it 3, 4, 5. And then the multiplication of each of them will be shown here. So 2 3s are 6, 6, and so on and so forth. So say Control Shift and Enter. Semicolon should not be there. So Control Shift and Enter. Yeah. So just merge. 6, 8, 10. So what happens? 2 into 3, 6. 2 into 4, 8. 2 into 5, 10. One row over. Then second row. 3 into 3, 9. 3 into 4, 12. 3 into 5, 15. 4 into 3, 12. 4 into 4, 16. And 4 into 5, 20. So here in this demo, we have seen vertical array how to print, horizontal array how to print, and 2D array how to print. Now you can go here in the vertical array and you can say, you can select these 3 and you can say also into you can multiply 2 and you can say 3 colon 4 colon 5. Now what you'll get? You'll get 2 into 3, 6, 4 into 3, 12, and 5 into 2, 4, 20. So you'll get 6, 12, and 20. So Control Shift Enter, 6, 12, and 20. So these kinds of things you can do with an array. Okay. So this is how you can create a vertical array. You can multiply 2 arrays and see the output, or you can have a single array. You can have a horizontal array and you can have a 2D array. So that's what this vertical range, horizontal range, and 2-dimensional range array formula is.